L'chaim, with the Chaim, the life.
How's everybody doing today?
Toots. Baruch Hashem. Yeah, we have to tapping to get likes. It's gonna take a while. I was just trying to do the color correction. Oh, you want to share it? All right. What's up? So yeah, here we are. This is Wednesday nights, which is pretty brutal because no, actually, it's not Wednesday night. Right now, Thursday morning. The morning of the 16th of the Hebrew month of Elul. What is Elul, Chaim? Tell me about it.
Elul is Anila Doidi V'Doidi Li.
What is it in English and in Spanish?
You want to tell us what Anila?
English, only English.
Tell us what Elul is.
Anila Dodi V'Doidi Li. And all the rabbis are going to explain the rest.
Okay.
I'm starting it off.
I am to my beloved, and my beloved is to me.
Yeah. So in the Hasidus, in the Torah of Chassidus, it talks about in the Hasidus, in the Torah of Chassidus, it talks about very special time. It says that it's a time where the Creator is openly revealed to all of those who seek Him. Basically, what is the Hebrew phrase where the Creator is openly revealed to all of those who seek Him, basically? What is the Hebrew phrase, Ani Dodi Dodi means? I am for my beloved, and my beloved is me, which is a verse in Song of Songs, believe it or not. The phrase, Ani Dodi Dodi means, I am for my beloved, and my beloved is me, which is a verse in Song of Songs, believe it or not. Even if you don't believe it, it still is. Yeah. I am for my beloved is to me, which is talking about the relationship we have between us and the Creator of the universe. Because it says that the Alter Rebbe, the founder of the Chabad philosophy, says that during Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, and the Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, that is when the Creator is openly revealed, which is my beloved is to me. But during the month of Elul, last month of the Jewish year, the Jew year, says that refers to how the Creator, how we are approaching the Creator, which is the I am to my beloved. What do you think about that?
I think that in order to have a relationship, there has to be more than just talking. There has to be more than just action. There has to be Anila Doidi. There has to be I am to my beloved. There has to be a connection from below Anila Doidi. There has to be I am to my beloved. There has to be a connection from below to above. You have to be a giver, and you also have to be a receiver. Dodi li. So it's not enough to just give and give and give. You have to be able to receive. And you can't receive unless you give up your trauma. A lot of people are traumatized and they're afraid to accept. And the only way you can have a proper relationship is to be able to accept back to yourself. You got seltzer at then? Is to be able to accept back to yourself. You got seltzer at then?
Why are you saying that?
What's up? To Chaim.
Give my best when you.
Nice.
So the idea of a relationship is more than just thinking and doing. It has to be all three together. Thought, speech, action. It has to be in every aspect, but it also should enter to your inner core. There should be a core connection.
Of course. So basically, first, we have the core connection of us to the Creator. So the question, though, it says that the Alter Rebbe first said, we have the core connection of us to the Creator. So the question, though, it says that the Alter Rebbe first says that the Hebrew month of Elul spells out as an acronym the entire verse in Hebrew that I am for my beloved is to me. The Hebrew wording. So just the month of Elul itself spells out the acronym, first, I am to my beloved, and my beloved is to me. But then, the Alter Rebbe says that really the part where it says my beloved is to me, that's referring to Rosh Hashanah, to the Jewish New Year, which is after Elul. So why, Chaim, does the Alter Rebbe first say...
Can you make a bigger screen with it? Make a whole screen.
So why does the Alter Rebbe first say that the month of Elul, that the word Elul refers to both I am to my beloved and my beloved is to me, when afterwards he says Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, which is after Elul, is my beloved is to me? Why does he say that? Do you remember?
Good question.
But do you remember? It's a question. I know it's a good question. Do you remember the answer? Or should we? What do you think about the question?
So it's about the idea of understanding that it's a special time, and you could ask for whatever you want. And there's certain times when you can't. There's certain big people, kings,
When
etc.
can't you ask?
Where you have to make a meeting, and it takes forever to get an appointment. It could take you years. And then there's a time of the year where everybody is welcome to come in. King is in the field. You can ask him whatever you want. Torah and Talmud is the same thing. And no matter what you are, no matter who you are, and no matter what you are, there's a time and place where everyone could ask, and the king accepts you with love and happiness. And it could be a homeless person on the street, and the king says, "Wow, I love you, brother. I love you, my son." That's the idea.
Yeah, so that's true. That's
Why
the idea.
it's always zero?
No one's actually watching.
People are writing comments and still saying zero.
There's like one guy wrote a comment, but no one actually is staying around.
Well, how do you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
it? So log out and log in again.
No, it's the same thing. It's gonna be the same thing.
Yeah?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's not how it works.
No, they're gonna come. People are gonna come if we keep sharing it. If you share it from them. But anyway, so that was interesting. But regarding the question, we kind of got a little bit
What's
lost.
the question?
The question is that the Alter Rebbe starts out by saying that the entire month of Elul spells out the acronym of two things. A verse in the Song of Songs that says two things. I am for my beloved and my beloved is to me. That's both of those things are alluded to in just the word Elul, the last month of the year. But then the Alter Rebbe says immediately afterwards that in Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur we have my beloved is to me. But during Elul is I'm for my beloved. So then why do we also have my beloved is to me as part of the acronym of Elul itself? Do you understand the question?
Yes.
So what is it? Explain it in 5 different languages.
So, in the month of El, we start off at the first step, Anila Dodi.
What does that mean?
El, we start off at the first step, Anila Dodi.
What does that mean?
I am to my beloved. Lamata Lamaila.
What does that mean in
So
English?
it means from this world,
to
from
above,
below
it means.
to above.
Oh.
And then when we have Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, the Eibishter gives us the special power. But we don't have that power until we have Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. But the Eibishter is giving us his love, he's giving us his presence. But in the month of El, we're only connecting to Hashem. We're asking him.
From us.
We're requesting.
Going
Then, Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, the Eibishter is able to give everything that we're going to have for the whole year. Starts with Rosh Hashanah, Hashem decrees everything, and then Yom Kippur, Hashem seals everything. And so as Doideli, Hashem is actually giving us the marriage ceremony. But in Elul, we're just, we're engaged. We're doing the first part.
Oh, that's good analysis. So yeah, so the first part in Elul, we are doing teshuvah to get ready for the Jewish New Year. But during the Jewish New Year is when the Creator decrees everything that's going to happen through the entire
When we
year.
read the marriage, when we read the marriage certificate, that's when we read it. Hashem reads us. What's the promises of marriage, the happiness, everything is read on Rosh Hashanah. But then Yom Kippur, we get sealed, we break the cup. Everything's finalized.
So that's a good analysis of the first part.
Shana Rabbah is when you could make an appeal still.
So that's a good analysis of the first part.
Shana Rabbah is when you could make an appeal still.
Next time.
The appeals court.
You have the appeals court. You can still go to a higher court.
Wait, so that's a good explanation for the first part, but what is the question that we have? That's
Next time.
the appeals court.
You have the appeals court. You can still go to a higher court.
Wait, so that's a good explanation for the first part, but what is the question that we have? That's the real question, is what is the question?
What is the question?
The question is, somebody's asking what's the Jewish
That's in the comments, we have a question.
secret to success.
That's a different question. Anyone who wants to request the guests can come up and talk with their webcam on if they want.
So the Jewish secret to success is one thing and one thing only. Our core. In every Jewish core, there is a connection to God. It's like when in marriage, only after many, many years of relationship do you get to the core love. And so same thing, the Jewish people were given this core love from God. It's natural, it comes to us from Mount Sinai. And so the key to success is that we connect with that core.
Of course. Yes, these are all good sentiments, but we still have not actually established what the question actually is.
What's the question?
Here, okay, let's back up. We said the Alter Rebbe first said, the first thing he said in the book called Likutei Torah, the collection of Torah insights from Chabad. He says that the Hebrew letters of the Hebrew word Elul, which is not really a Hebrew word even, that's another issue, but the Hebrew letters that spell out the Hebrew month of Elul, the last month of the Hebrew year, if you take each of those letters, they spell an acronym from the Song of Songs in the scriptures. And it says that verse in the Song of Songs says, I am for my beloved says to me. So just the word Elul, just the last month itself, the words and the letters of the last month of the year say two things. First of all, I am for my beloved, and my beloved is to me. First of all, so far so good. Just the month of Elul has two things. Do you get that? No? Yes? But then the Alter Rebbe says that in Rosh Hashanah, in the Jewish New Year, and in Yom Kippur, that is when we have my beloved is to me, when the Creator decrees everything for the year. But Elul is I am for my beloved. So do you get the question now? Or no? What is the question?
The question is, in Elul is Anila Doidi.
English, please.
I'm to my beloved.
Yes.
And so where's the beloved to me?
Yes.
Where is my beloved? Beloved, where are you?
Exactly.
Where are you for me?
Exactly.
He said every Shabbos.
Exactly.
My beloved is to me.
Yes, that's the question. Yes,
so
that's
Shabbos Shabbaton, which is Yom Kippur, is my beloved to me.
Yeah, exactly. That's the question. First, Alter, we said that the Elul should have both parts. I'm for my beloved and my beloved is to me within Elul itself. But then he says that the I'm for my beloved is only in Rosh Hashanah, in the Jewish New Year, and Yom Kippur. So that's the initial stage. But then, in order to answer, how do we have my beloved is to me in Elul? Then he says, during Elul, besides for us approaching the Creator on our own, we also have this idea, my beloved is to me in Elul. Then he says, during Elul, besides for us approaching the Creator on our own, we also have this idea called the 13 attributes of divine mercy. There's 13 ways that the Creator tells us in the Torah that people can ask Hashem to forgive them. And there's 13 ways that the Creator, there's 13 reasons for why the Creator forgives people, like abounding in kindness, slow to anger, etc. So the point is that there's 13 ways that the Creator tells Moses that the Creator will forgive people. And in the month of Elul, originally in the Torah, was during the time when Moses was asking for forgiveness for the Jewish people for worshiping the golden calf. And it says Moses was on the Mount Sinai for 120 days. The first set of 40 days, he learned the Torah. The second set of 40 days, he was praying tefillah, he was praying for forgiveness. And the third set of 40 days and 40 nights, which starts in the beginning of the month of Elul, that's the teshuvah. That's when the Creator forgave us, and that's the process of forgiveness. So during the month of Elul, even from the Torah itself, we have this idea of 13 attributes of mercy, which were revealed to Moses at that time. Originally, those attributes of mercy every year are revealed from above to below in Elul. And that's what inspires a person to approach the Creator on their own. So on the one hand, Elul is the time when we approach the Creator on our own. On the other hand, we have this revelation from above that is inspiring people to approach the Creator. And the Alter Rebbe says that an analogy to understand what these 13 attributes of mercy are in Elul, says that's an analogy of like a king who, before he comes to a city, back to his palace, the king starts out, he's in a field. So the king, usually when the king is in a palace during the Jewish New Year and during the Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, that's like when the king is in his palace. He's like exclusive, only certain officers can meet with him, etc. And sometimes the Creator is like so divine, he's like way beyond everything in the palace. But during the month of Elul, when we have the 13 attributes of mercy shining to each and every one, that's like an analogy as if a king of the whole city, of the whole world, is like out in the field, hanging out with the simpletons. And since the king, just the fact that the king's not actually doing anything, but just the fact that the king is in the field, ready to greet anyone who approaches him, that itself will inspire people to approach the king.
Could you imagine, for a moment,
I could.
that there was a homeless man in the streets?
Louder.
There was a homeless man in the streets. And this homeless man suffered for many years. He was an alcoholic. He used drugs.
Speak louder.
He smelled. Hasn't taken a shower in months. And could you imagine for a moment that the richest man, Elon Musk, came down from his big palace and he took this man off the street and he bathed him and he hugged him and he brought him into his chamber of chambers. He brought him into his most expensive room of his house where he has all his beautiful books, golden chairs, beautiful table, and he had a big sofa. He says, come lie down over here, take a nap. He brought out $10,000 bottle of champagne, have some champagne. Could you imagine how much more love would this homeless man have to that person than that person would have to him? That's what you would think. So Ani Ladodi is, the king is coming into the field. He's coming to a poor person like me.
Ani Ladodi is, I am for my beloved. That's when the Jewish people approach the Creator. But right now we're talking about when the Creator approaches us, even during the month of Elul.
So when the Creator is showing us His love and kindness by coming into the field and just bringing us out, taking us out of the field and bringing us to the palace. And that's Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, when He brings us to the palace.
He's coming down to his palace.
To His palace, yeah. But He's coming to the field.
He's coming to the field where the people are.
Where any person is, on every level, He's coming to you.
He's coming out into the fields where each and every one is. It's kind of an interesting, intense concept.
But this is Mindcraft, not Minecraft. This is Mindcraft.
Someone in the comments. Do you believe Hashem speaks to individuals in a direct way?
Of course. What kind of question is that? Of course.
Yes. In the realm of the Maimonides, in the laws of the foundations of the Torah, chapter 7, says that it's one of the foundations of the Torah to know that the Creator gives prophecy to humans. So, in the Talmud it says that, after Malachi, then the prophecy was removed from the Jewish people. Which implies that there's no prophecy nowadays, but no.
But there's Ruach HaKodesh.
Yeah, there's Ruach HaKodesh. No, but not only that, but the Rambam says in another source, in the Igros HaTeman, that prophecy actually returned to the Jewish people around the year 4,900 in the Jewish calendar, based on a verse in the book of Numbers. It says that, based on a whole calculation, essentially, the Rambam himself, who's accepted by all Judaism, said that prophecy returned to the Jewish people. And not only does he say the prophecy returned, but he also gives a personal account of, I believe it was his great-grandfather who met an actual prophet in his time. So this is a source that the Lubavitcher Rebbe quotes. I believe it was his great-grandfather who met an actual prophet in his time. So this is a source that the Lubavitcher Rebbe quotes in around the summer of 1991, where he says that prophecy exists nowadays. And then he also quotes Shar HaNevuah, the gate of prophecy, from the Arizal, that talks about prophecy. Anyone can attain prophecy, hypothetically.
You could all become prophets by learning Chassidut. Every single one of you can become a prophet, no problem.
Non-profit, yes. People are asking what exactly year it was.
We are non-profit, but you could become a prophet.
Yeah, you could be non-profit. People are asking what exactly the year was. I don't have a calculator on me, but it's 2,488 times 2 in the Jewish calendar, which is 4,900 something. Right now we're in the year 5,784 going into 85. So if you do the math, you'll figure it out. The calculation that the Rambam gives for why 2,488 times 2, because in the book of Numbers it talks about a non-Jewish prophet named Bilam, and he was trying to curse the Jewish people, but then at a certain point,
Bilam HaRasha.
Yes, exactly. You have to bill him a lot of money because he's really bad. So it says that he was trying to curse the Jewish people, but then he accidentally blessed the Jewish people with all these prophecies that talks about. But the point is, one of the prophecies he talks about prophecy returning to the Jewish people at a later time. He says that at a certain point in time, says like this time that exists now, at a future time, people will be able to ask the Jewish people, what is Hashem doing, what is Hashem thinking? So the point is that that's an allusion with an A to the fact that prophecy will return. But he starts out with a verse by saying, like this time, people will ask the Jewish people what Hashem is doing. So the Rambam says that when it says like this time, it also means like like the amount of years that have passed from the creation of the universe until the time they were in then, which was in the year 2488, because it was the 40th year the Jews were in the desert. Like that time, meaning like that number of years in the future, prophecy will come back to the Jewish people. And that was in the year 4,900 something, which was around 1100s.
Dove is a bird.
This is one of the comments.
You know Hebrew translation, it's a bird.
Someone was talking about, what are the comments? Someone mentioned the word dove in the.
He asked what a beer is. I said dove.
Dove.
Don't say beer, it says dove.
You said dove. You said dove is a bird. No, you said,
not a beer, it's a bird.
but it's also a bear. The prophecy is here. Yes. People are asking questions, but we're not sure what to say in the response. Should we invite people? What do you think? Any other thoughts you have for the month of Elul?
Well, the guru is here.
Yeah, the guru mimenu.
Do you know Adam Sandler? I actually know Adam Sandler.
Really?
He doesn't know Adam Sandler.
Not yet.
I met Adam Sandler at a synagogue
Well,
Which
of course
synagogue?
you do.
in LA
When?
10 years ago.
10 years ago. Nice.
He used to go to synagogue every Saturday. He's
Nice.
Modern Orthodox.
Cool. Yeah, so Elul. Some people say Elul because it says after the king goes into the fields to where the people are, it says that the king allows everyone to greet him, and the king, anyone who wants to greet the king will greet with a smiling face. So that's why it's called Elul, because it's a happy, smiling month. Do you remember what the Maimer says from the Lubavitch Rebbe about the difference between smiling? Well, the Alter Rebbe says first the king shows the smiling face, then he greets everyone with like a beautiful face, and those are two different like references to different spiritual energies. Do you remember what it was talking about there?
Put that in recycling outside.
Take that as a maybe. But basically, remember, it says the king accepts everyone with a smiling face, shows a beautiful face to them. So that has different hints in the spiritual worlds of like what it refers to, like the essential delight that the Creator has in Teshuvah and returning to Him, essentially.
Connect to your core, my brothers.
Of course. You got to say so much stuff.
What liquor do Jews prefer? Any liquor that you can make a blessing on. Depends which Jewish group. Every Jewish group from every country has a different preference. We don't prefer food. We prefer God. We in every nation that we live in, we adopt according to the preferred flavors. In Mexico, Jews like spicy stuff, and in America, Jews like bitter stuff. That's how it is.
Do you know any better resources for studying Jewish texts other than Sfaria? Yes, I do not like Sfaria. Actually,
Safari is not necessarily proper.
Yes, there's actually an article from Torah Musings that talks about how Sfaria was actually forbidden according to some things.
It's run a lot by Reform Jews.
One of the problems with Sfaria, they use this JPS modern translation, which is like gender neutral and very inaccurate translation for the Torah. But in fact, Chabad.org, just a couple years ago, they made an entirely new section of their website called the Torah Texts. Just look up Torah Texts, Chabad. They have everything that Sfaria has and more,
and translated the proper way.
Yes, that's most important.
Not with an AI robotic translation.
AI can be pretty good sometimes,
but not when it's gender neutral. Because the whole point of Judaism is every word has feminine and masculinity in every single word of the Torah. The Torah is in Lashon feminine, Torah, and tzitzit is Lashon masculinity. Tefillin, every single mitzvah has. Every single mitzvah has a gender behind it, and it doesn't mean man or woman. It's a gender. The word is a gender. It refers to masculinity or femininity, and what does that mean? Masculinity means giving, and femininity means receiving. So when you take that out, you destroy the translation.
Yeah.
I am from San Francisco originally, but I'm now living in New York.
Well, this guy knows about my community, as someone said in the comments. Speakeasy. He's a guy I usually have.
I grew up in San Francisco, and I know all about gender neutral. And I still think that it should be proper.
Nice.
It's not a contradiction at all. We've talked before. Oh, what's up, Spear Easy?
You remember? Speakeasy.
Speakeasy.
$100 million.
Yeah, maybe we met in San Francisco. Yo, you Carrot?
Should we bring him out?
Oh, Daly City.
Let's bring him if he wants to come.
I think we met.
There. Oh, nice. How's it going? Let's change the layout. Hey, what's up?
We met about a few months ago. We spoke on online, I think.
Yeah, we spoke on TikTok.
Yeah, you're from the Daly City congregation, the only Karaite synagogue out of Israel, right?
The only Beit Knesset in the Western Hemisphere, yeah.
Yes. And thanks to me, thanks to my father, you were able to open it. By the way,
Wait,
you couldn't get permits, and my father sent Jerry Stein to he had connections. He was able to help them open it.
that was your dad?
And that was my dad's manager of his Chabad helped them open it, helped them get the permit to open it, got them the permissions.
Bruh.
I believe it was Jerry. I forgot I think his last name was Stein, but I'm not sure. Jerry was a cowboy. He looks like a cowboy. He used to have his big hat, so he got the permits.
Bruh. Well, on behalf of my community, thank your father for us.
Everybody is entitled to worship Hashem, right?
I guess.
Everybody has their own customs, but everybody's entitled to daven.
That's fair. That is very fair.
Nice. Someone asked in the comments,
I
where
haven't
is
seen
Shlomo?
him in 6 months.
Who is he? Who is that person?
He's like some master's degree, some doctor.
That's cool.
So what you been up to?
Yeah, mischief, mayhem, you know, the usual. Talking Torah with Awtsmoos here.
Yeah, Awtsmoos
We don't always agree, but you know, we don't always agree on stuff. But
you know what
at least
Awtsmoos
we're
is?
like, what?
Do you know what the translation of the word Awtsmoos?
Okay, what is it?
Awtsmoos is the essence of God. Everybody's Awtsmoos. You are Awtsmoos. I am Awtsmoos. Everybody ultimately is just God. There's nothing exists besides God. So everything is Awtsmoos at the end of the day.
And the beginning of the day also.
And the beginning of the day. And the middle of the day. At the beginning of the creation and after creation is Awtsmoos. That's all there is. When you look deep down enough into anything, eventually all you see is God. If you look deep down in anything, any object, any creation, anything. Because the world was created from nothing. So if the world was created from something, you would find something. But if the world was created from nothing, you only find God. So the world is created from God. So everything is God. At the end of the day, everything is Awtsmoos. So that's why he's Awtsmoos. We're all Awtsmoos. So that's a cool name.
You make it sound like the Force.
Force, yes. The Force, they copied us.
The Force was written by somebody who learned Kabbalah.
Who was it written by? George Lucas?
Yeah, he went to Kabbalah Center or something.
George Lucas went to Kabbalah Center, really?
So he heard this concept.
Where'd you hear that he went to Kabbalah Center?
You could call it an energy. Everything has energy in it. You could call it a divine being. But at the end of the day, when a person creates a table, right? He created it from wood.
Oh, here's another phone.
The wood is chopped down by what? An axe. What's the axe made out of? Tree. So the tree is chopping down itself, right? But once the person creates the table, right? Is it still the person? No. Now it's the table. It's separate from him. It's nothing to do with him. I mean, you could say that this was made by this person, but it's no longer this person. When God creates something, he creates that of himself, only him. So at the end of the day, it's only God that's the creation. Of course, if you look at it on a physical level, yeah, it looks like it's separate from God. But if you look at it at a deeper level, yeah, it's all God. Everything is Awtsmoos at the end of the day. Because it doesn't have its own existence. It's constantly being created by God, because it's made with God's energy. So it's God. It's not separate from God. So that's why everything that God creates is God. So it doesn't have its own existence, and that's why everything's Awtsmoos. Make sense?
It does.
Any questions about it?
Not at this time, no.
Not yet, not yet. Yeah, some questions. I mean, some questions people might have is that, if you say the world is the creator, then that means the creator is like limited to the world. So how could that be and stuff like that? But
What are you saying? God is physical?
yeah, exactly. So the creator is not only the world. First of all, it says the creator is the place of the world, but the world is not the place of the creator. So the world is found within. It's included within the creator, but the creator is infinitely more. But the reason why it says that when the creator created the worlds, it did not affect any change in the creator himself. The creator says is exactly the same as he was before it was created and after, and even during. And it says that's because the world, it says, is constantly being recreated from the creator every second, and it's totally nullified like a ray of light absorbed in the source. What was that? No.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay, thanks. Okay.
But Awtsmoos said something
Exactly. The Awtsmoos, the creator, is speaking something.
constantly.
Yeah, so this idea of the creator constantly creating everything from nothing with his speech, it's elaborated on.
And that makes you understand that if you fail today, you have tomorrow. If you failed at this hour, you have the next hour, because every moment is recreation. And
Recreation also.
recreation, yes. So at the end of the day, you could change everything. It's no problem. Whatever happened the past 5 minutes doesn't matter.
The past second.
Yeah, I mean, because you could start again. It's no problem. Because God is recreating everything at every moment of the day. Because otherwise it would exist, because it's from God, so it has to be constantly created. It doesn't have its own existence on its own.
Did you say something?
No. I'm just saying that I love what I'm hearing, but right now I'm very tired and I want to go to bed. So,
I mean, this is what Judaism believes,
What, going to bed?
and this is what the whole world actually believes. In. Ultimately, if you speak to any religion in the world, that ultimately they understand this. The problem is some people think that God comes, creates, and then disappears. That's the problem. That God is no longer part of the creation, so they don't feel connected to God in any way. They say, yeah, there's a God, but we're not connected to Him. You know, that's the problem.
Every single day.
Yeah. This idea is elaborated on by the founder of the Chabad Hasidic movement, known as the Alter Rebbe, in a book called the Tanya, published around 1776, I believe, or 1772, which, by the way, was around the same time that America was being founded. So that maybe implies that the entire America is just for Chabad and the teachings of Chabad to permeate the lowest level, so that everyone can know about the secrets of the Torah, etc. Anyway.
it feels like Baal Shem Tov territory, though.
Which? What does?
Baal Shem Tov.
He revealed this to the world. He only revealed this to certain, to 10 of his students. These things were not revealed to the common man. The Alter Rebbe was the first one to reveal it to common man, to everybody. While Shem Tov just taught people to connect with God on any level, but he didn't teach them the secrets.
Right. There's very few things that I don't think the Baal Shem Tov himself actually wrote anything. There's a book called Kesser Shem Tov, which is the teachings that the Baal Shem Tov said, but I believe that.
A lot.
I don't think that he wrote some letters to people. He wrote like personal letters. I don't think he wrote any books though, the Baal Shem Tov. Did he? Did he write any books? I don't think so. Did he?
Oh, the Baal Shem Tov?
Yeah, I don't think he wrote any.
Baal Shem Tov has certain books called Kesser Shem Tov.
He didn't write
He
that.
didn't write it
Though.
himself. His students wrote it for him.
Right. But that was only after like the Alter Rebbe came around, because it quotes Alter Rebbe. So anyway, this idea that the world is being constantly created every second, it says that
My mother from the Baal Shem Tov.
where are they printed in Alter Rebbe?
No, the Alter Rebbe's book.
Right. The Alter Rebbe wrote a lot of stuff from the Baal Shem Tov that he heard by word of mouth. But I don't think the Baal Shem Tov himself actually wrote that many books. Anyway, the point is, though, that this idea that the world is being constantly created every second by the speech of the Creator is attributed to the Baal Shem Tov by the Alter Rebbe, the founder of the Chabad movement. In a book called the Book of the Tanya, published in the 1770s, he attributes it to the Baal Shem Tov, and basically the Baal Shem Tov was the one to publicize this idea of the world being created every second. It was also known before then in a certain way, and also traces back to the Arizal, and also in the Midrash. It said, someone asked in the comments, is it being constantly created or constantly sustained? So both at the same time. But it is, first of all, being constantly created from absolutely nothing. Just like it was created originally from totally nothing in the beginning of creation. It says that since it's created from totally nothing, this is like part of the Baal Shem Tov's explanation quoted by the Alter Rebbe. Since the world is created from totally nothing, then in order to keep it in what appears to be something, that something has to be constantly brought into being from nothing every second. It says, if the Creator, Chas Shalom, would stop creating even for 1 nanosecond, not only would everything cease to exist entirely, Chas Shalom, but it would be
like it was never created in the first place.
You word the took out of my mouth. Exactly. It would be as if nothing was ever created, which is so this is like
and you would never be able to find any trace of any creation.
Yeah, so this is like one of the explanations of the Baal Shem Tov.
For example, your words. When you say something, they no longer exist after you say it. Yes? You say certain words, it ceases to exist. When God says a word, it's constantly being created by God. The word is constantly being created. It constantly exists through God's speech. That's the difference. When you say something, it's gone. That's it. The word is no longer part of you.
Yeah, but by the Creator, the words are still united with Him. But the point that the Baal Shem Tov talks about that's quoted by the Alter Rebbe, it says that the original words that the Creator used to create the universe, which are mentioned in the beginning of the Torah, when it says, "Let there be light, let there be a sky in the heavens, let there be animals," etc., it says those words, when they created the matter that the words describe, it says when the words created those things, those words are still found inside of the physical objects and spiritual objects that they created. And it says the fact that the spiritual letters and the energy of the letters are inside of the creation, that is what brings the creation, each specific creation, into existence from absolutely nothing every second. It says not only if the Creator would stop speaking would everything resort to nothingness, but it says even if the letters would still exist, but even if the letters would be removed from within the creations that they're creating, then everything would cease to exist, because the creations need to have the letters inside of them.
God and His Word is one. There's no separation. God and His Torah is one. God and the Jewish people are one. God and His creation are one. Not separate. Anybody wants to speak?
Yeah, we have we have 4 viewers, but only 2 of them show up, so it's all right. But other people are like hidden. No, but this is all mentioned in the Book of the Tanya.
Find it up on Google. Tanya.
Excuse me.
I was on the train. And I said, "What's your name?" She says, "Tanya." Not that kind of Tanya. Book of Tanya. Today is a special day in the Hasidic calendar. It's the first time when a yeshiva was created called Tomchem Tamimim, which was specifically designed for younger generations to be able to learn the secrets of the Torah in a school environment. Before this, it was only learned by older students, students who graduated, etc., students who have already finished yeshiva. And it was the first time in history where young people from Masifta already were able to learn Chassidut and indulge in the secrets and depths of mysticism.
And now here we are. That school took us all the way to TikTok, where literally anyone on the internet could find it.
Through that, it used to be all the old people knew this stuff. Now everybody in the world has the entire Torah in the palm of their hand. The entire Torah will be found right in your hands.
can you do something?
and you'll be able to find every source that you want. There's no more blockings for human beings today. We are the generation of technology.
Yes. It says the Lubavitcher Rebbe said in the Kudisichos, I believe it was volume 15 or something, in the parsha that talks about Noah's flood. It talks about the source of how technology was really prophesized in the Zohar based on the verses from the flood of Noah. It said that the Zohar essentially prophesied the Industrial Revolution, which eventually led to all the technology we have today. And it says that the whole purpose of the technology is in order to spread the secrets of the Torah.
The Industrial Revolution started right when the Baal Shem Tov started his wellsprings of Chassidus, that year.
Yeah, it might have been within 2 years, I think, but within the same, probably the same time. I don't exactly.
Century, at least.
Yeah, no, it was like we're literally within each other, right next to each other. And the Zohar, which was published already a long time before that, it predicted the year that technology would take on a huge leap. It says that in the times of the flood, it says that where did the flood water come from? It was a lot of water. It says, first of all, there was miraculous windows that opened in the heavens, and miraculous water fell from above to below. And it says that there was a bunch of hot springs that were opened up from the depths of the earth. There's huge amounts of water underground, and this water that was underground from the depths of the earth also burst forth into the world. So two different waters, water from above and water from below.
And we still have, till today, we have certain parts of the earth you can still find these hot springs. A few of them were left. Like, where is it? Yukon.
Yukon.
What do you call it? Where's those hot springs? Yellowstone, you got a hot spring.
California, there's a few hot springs.
All around the world, we still have some hot springs left from the time of the flood.
Yeah. Interesting. Do you believe that it's flat and surrounded by a dome? No. Earth is definitely round.
According to Torah, the earth is round. Rambam actually says that the earth is round.
Yes. Listen.
The Talmud actually says that the earth is round. Thousands of years ago, the Torah already says that the earth is round. It says Yama, Tzafaina, V'Negva. It says Yama became of Tzafaina, V'Negva. It talks about the four directions of the
By the
earth.
time we have our own location,
Yeah.
we're gonna pretty much.
Yeah. So the point is that the flood talks about water from above and water from below, and the Zohar says that this also alludes to a future time. First of all, it says this was in the 600th year of Noah's life. So there's a connection between the number 600 and the water from above and water from below. So the Zohar says that in the 600th year of the 6th millennium, it says there will be a time when there will be new knowledge, which is knowledge is metaphorically compared to as water for different reasons. The water of the mind, like the water is like flowing from one place to another, so too knowledge can flow from one mind to another mind. So the Zohar says that there will come a future time where, just like in the flood, there was two different waters, the water from above and water from below, that caused the flood. In the future times, there's going to be a flood of knowledge, where the knowledge from above and knowledge from below, knowledge from the heavens and knowledge from the earth, will flood the world with a new era of knowledge. It says this was the year 5600 in the Jewish calendar. Which even before that, what year was it? Was it 5600 or before? You know. What does the Zohar say? The 600th year of the 6th millennium, right?
6,000. The year 6,000.
No. The year 6,000 is one thing, but I think the Zohar says the 600th year of the 6th millennium, which is 5600, right? That was a couple. Pretty sure. That was like 100.
Erev Shabbos.
That was about 185 years ago, which was the beginning of.
After Plaga Mincha.
It wasn't the Baal Shem Tov at that time. That was when the Torah Or, which was one of the main books of Chabad in that year, was published, which has a lot of the huge secrets of the Torah that were hidden, and that was published in that year, about 185 years ago, approximately. But the Zohar says that in that year there's going to start a new time where there's going to be knowledge from the heavens and knowledge from the earth that's going to flood the world. So the knowledge of the heavens was this new book from Chabad called Likutei Torah and Torah Or, which is all the teachings of the secrets of the Torah, which were secret for thousands of years. No one really knew about them except for certain people. But that was finally published to the masses. And at that same time is when the Industrial Revolution, which is knowledge from the earth, happened.
And with Hasidus, you have an answer to every question in the Torah that you might have. And you can understand why God did everything that God did. You can't understand God, but we can understand why God created stuff, why God did things, etc.
And how he creates stuff.
And how he does everything. So we never had this knowledge before, now we have this knowledge. And any question that you might not understand from a Bible, from the Torah, is explained in the Chassidus. Explains every single idea that you might have, every question you might have, every sveika you might have. It's all answered. It's all clear. And these are the teachings that will be taught when Messiah comes. This is a taste of the future. We will have knowledge. Kamala Haaretz Deis Hashem Kamayim Yom Lechosim. Kamala Haaretz Deis Hashem Kamayim. Kamala Haaretz.
It's like the earth will be filled the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the Creator like water covers the seabed. So it's going to be a huge flood of knowledge. We already have a little bit of the flood of knowledge now with the technology and all the secrets of the Torah being published, etc. But it says this flood is going to extend infinitely greater, and it's going to be a flood of goodness, not a flood of destruction, but a flood of knowledge that will bring only goodness and infinite prosperity to the world in the times of Messiah. Well, tell us about the times of Messiah.
So the time of the Messiah, we're going to have, what we're learning now in Chassidut is just a taste. And basically, we're going to have the knowledge of God. And when Messiah comes, every human being will be able to tap into all the knowledge that we ever wanted to know. And it will be more sweet than candy because we're going to have knowledge revealed. And that's more great than any pleasure in the world, is to be able to have the highest levels of understanding. And then when everything becomes clear, when we look at the world, we understand a little bit of why God created the world. When we look at the world and we discover how great God is, but when Messiah comes, it will be so much more pleasurable and so much more revealed, and everything will be making clear. And that's what we're looking for and yearning for, the revelation of godliness. The full revelation of godliness, and that's what we're waiting for our whole lives.
Yes, when the Messiah comes, it says it's going to be an era of eternal prosperity for Jews and Gentiles alike. Even animals, even inanimate matter will be permeated with the knowledge of Hashem. Basically, it says that even the physical rocks will cry out for Hashem. The Messiah is going to restore the kingdom of King David to its former glory, and even greater.
It talks about the eye that hears and the eye that hears and the ears that see.
The ears that see. I didn't hear that.
So
the eye that hears and the ears that see.
Says the Messiah comes. Around the time the Messiah comes, the beams of your house will be witness. And today we have technology that could see you from the beams of your house and could hear you from the beams of your house. And this is all prophesied in Jeremiah, etc. Talks about how right before the Messiah comes, there will be video cameras. There will be
It doesn't say
computers.
that. It doesn't say about video
It
cameras.
doesn't say that straight out, but it says that the beams of your house will bear witness. And it says that there's an eye that sees and an ear that hears. So we are seeing that today. We are getting a taste of it.
Yeah, I heard an explanation. Yeah, essentially the technology that we have now is essentially a taste of what it's going to be like. When the Messiah comes, it's like the actual physical objects will actually know the Creator directly. Won't even have to be through technology. It's just like automatically the Creator is constantly speaking it into existence. Since the Creator is speaking everything to existence, everything has a soul in it. So we're gonna see the soul.
When you walk on a brick, when you walk on a cement, when you walk on the pavement will bear witness and say, "Why are you walking on me to do a sin? Walk on me only to do pure things." And when you pull off a fruit from the tree, you'll say, "Why are you pulling off this fruit if you're not going to use it?" So this already is happening. We're starting to see this.
Starting to, yes, not exactly the same. Starting to. So the Lubavitcher says in this,
IA intelligence, yeah.
Awtsmoos intelligence. So it says it in his talk from the Kiddush, I believe, volume 15, about the section, the parsha of the Torah about Noah, where it talks about technology and the prophecy of the Zohar from the knowledge of above, the knowledge from below that causes the flood. It says that. At first, it says a lot of advantages of how technology can help us understand the Creator, how it understands that there's an eye that hears and an ear that sees, and all of your actions are recorded in a book. you can see that with technology. Every website you go to is recorded by all these government agencies. It says that phones, you can talk to someone from across the world. So there's this idea of like supervision. We can understand a little bit of how the Creator supervises everything, a little bit. So it's like some kind of an analogy how we can understand how all of our actions are accounted for. That's one reason he gives. But then it says the main reason for why technology exists is in order to spread the teachings of Chabad, of the Hasidus, which is the deepest soul of the Torah.
Rabbi actually said the reason why the radio was created was so we could tell the whole world at once the Messiah has arrived. The question about the Messiah, we already had Messiah in the time of the temple. We had spies. We had Joshua. Joshua was a spy. Came into the land of Israel. I mean, this is not something new. We infiltrated. This is the oldest, almost 4,000 years old. The idea of being able to infiltrate and find out knowledge and be prepared. That's what your question was.
Yeah. So yes, basically we should use technology just to learn about and spread these teachings of Chabad. For resources, people could look up the book of the Tanya, Tanya, specifically part 2, is where it elaborates in great depth about how the Creator is constantly creating everything from nothing, and about how the creation does not affect any change of the Creator, because since everything is created from nothing, it's just like a ray of light that's absorbed within the sun itself. But really, it's just that we can't realize that. Our physical eyes don't see the Creator and everything, but it says, if permission were given for the physical eye to see creation, it says no one would be able to handle it. So the Creator hides Himself so we can exist, and then once we were able to find the Creator with our own understanding, then we're able to see it while understanding it. And that's going to be what the Messiah is going to be, where we're going to be able to see the Creator and everything while also still existing.
So this guy asked a question about
Just plug it in, it's going to go about it. Yeah.
about a privilege. There's no such thing as privilege. It was God gave us a choice. Do we want to be the chosen nation? What does it mean, the chosen nation? It doesn't mean that we are chosen above all others. It means that we were chosen to have a mission. And the mission is to make a dwelling place for God in this world. The mission is to be a lamp upon the other nations of the world. What does that mean? To give the light. And that's why we go from country to country, to take all the good in that country and elevate it, and to find all the sparks that were lost from the sin of Adam and Eve. And that's our whole mission in life, is to find the sparks and elevate those sparks.
We're about to run out of battery. We can either plug it in or we can end the live. What do you want to do?
We can end it.
End it?
All right, thank you everybody for coming. Shalom.
Yes.
We really appreciate everybody for coming.
Yes.
Have a good night.
It's been good. Yeah, so just some final thoughts. Look up the book of the Tanya to learn about how the Creator is constantly creating the world.
And look up Hasidus. Very important.
Chassidus. And basically, we should know that the technology is used just to spread the teachings of Chassidus. One thought about the Jewish people being a chosen nation, it says the Creator, first of all, gave commandments to all humans. By the time that Adam was created, He gave 6 commandments to Adam. This is mentioned in the Rambam, R-A-M-B-A-M. Look it up, Lots of Kings, chapter 9 and 10. It says He gave 6 commandments to Adam, the first man, to make a functioning human society. To not worship idols, not blasphemize the Creator, not steal, not murder, not commit adultery, and to establish courts of justice. But then in the times of Noah, after the Noah's flood, then He added a 7th commandment that they could eat meat as long as they don't eat a living limb from an animal. So there's commandments for all of humanity that were existed, that everyone should know about, by the way. But then later, at a later time, the Creator wanted to give certain commandments, extra commandments, to one of the nations on earth to bring additional light into the world. And that's what the Torah comes from. So the Creator wanted to choose one of the nations to have this special covenants, to have more commandments. But He didn't know who to choose. I mean, He did know who to choose, but it says before He chose the Jewish people, He first went to every other nation in the world and asked them if they wanted to have this additional covenant of commandments. And everyone else said, no, we're good. We're fine how we are. So only the Jewish people said, we will do and we will listen. And then that's why the Creator chose them to have the covenant of these extra commandments. And that's why the Creator elevated them above all other nations, and the Creator implanted Himself into the Jewish people forever to give them the extra strength to do this covenant. But all the people still have the 7 laws of Noah. And by the way, if any of the nations later want to be part of this covenant, there's an ability for them to hypothetically convert to Judaism, then they become a full Jew. But even without that, all the nations of the world still have 7 commandments that Moses was also commanded about Mount Sinai. Everyone should learn about them, called the 7 laws of Noah. And that's how we're going to end it off, because the phone's running out of battery. But have a good night. And 7 laws of Noah. Functioning society, they're obligatory for all humans, except for Jews, because we have our own commandments. But it's saying, maybe I'll continue later. But the point is that 7 laws of Noah, very special, says that they should be publicized, that everyone should know about them, they should be implemented in every government in the world, and they're one of the ways that we can bring the Messiah closer, basically. So, have a good night.